Let's take a look here at Google Classroom Scenario 2. In this scenario, we're taking a look at some of the functions of and ways that you can use a Google Classroom rubric. So we'll take a look here. We have two activities here that I've posted in Google Classroom. Both of them can be scored rubrics, but we're going to take a look at the difference between scored rubrics and unscored rubrics. So in this case here, I'm going to go ahead and open up this assignment. And this assignment is using a scored rubric. So when I hover over student, you can see blank out of 20 points here. So let's say I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the student's sketch and tell. According to the rubric here, they've done nothing. So according to this rubric that I've used, I'm going to give them a score of 0. So it's the highest score versus the lowest score here. So I give them, they're going to get a score of a 0 out of 20. I may leave them some feedback here in the comments. I'm going to click return, and what's going to happen is they're going to immediately get this feedback about how they did based on this rubric. We'll go ahead and close that down. Let's take a look now at another example here. Look at an unscored rubric, and we'll look at a different student here. And an unscored rubric is not going to give them it'll give them points based off of the rubric here. So let's say I give them 1 out of 3. And they're going to go ahead and get they're going to get some feedback based on that without actually receiving a score. Because you see when I hover over this here, this is not going to give them an actual grade. So the unscored rubric will kind of give me some feedback on their progress on some kind of activity, but it's not going to give them a grade, but I'm able to give them feedback regardless. So the big difference is that when you set up an assignment like this, that you leave it unscored. So just for argument's sake here, let's go ahead and go to edit here. So right here where it says for points, I'll leave it as ungraded. So the rubric will give them feedback on what they're doing, but that does not assign them a grade. So if I go ahead and another element of rubrics to be aware of is how that rubrics, when you use a rubric right here, is a very basic one. When you click on the rubric to open it and you want to edit it and stuff here, you click on the 3 little dots here, I can edit. You can also export this to a Google Sheet, and then that could be used in a variety of other methods and places. So there's 3 things to be aware of with Google Classroom rubrics. You can use scored rubrics and unscored rubrics. Both are effective ways of leaving feedback, and any rubric that you use in Google Classroom can be exported to Google Sheets.